Shah, the Most High God, the name is only begotten Son. Got myself, Chief Priest Alazar Malloy, Guerrilla Hebrew. I'm joined, of course, by now regular part of the podcast, Brother Nashar, Soldier Nashar, and we got special guest, our brother Ali Izar here. And we today on this episode, we got a side over here off camera. You know, he's gonna be asking us some very key questions. But today we want to, kind of delve into the topic of street gangs and the effect that they've had on our lives. Myself, the brother Ali Izar, and running with them. The brother Nashar, growing up around them, brothers being involved with. He even played with it a little himself, but he didn't.
No, that wasn't my thing. I'm not a gangbanger.
We know that, but you played with it a little bit. You was just telling me that story the other day.
I'm not a gangbanger.
He was hopping. He was at the bus stop with that rag hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
He played a little bit.
I was fronting. You know what? I was fronting, bro. But you know what? I fronted hard though, bro.
Yeah, for a second, you were fronting hard, right?
Why? I can admit that.
Why were you fronting?
Why?
I mean, Alazar know my, he know my brothers.
It was cool to be a gang member.
No, real talk though. I mean, listen.
Go into it.
In California, especially if you grew up in Oceanside, where I'm from, you know what I'm saying. My brothers, my family, they were all from the Valley, DVC, D Valley Crip.
Mm-hmm.
So Smith name that kind of rung bells, in the Valley a little bit, but.
Real generic name. You probably run everywhere.
Yeah, I know how that is. That's the
Smith. Oh yeah, Smith.
That's okay. No, it's all good. But it's just one of those things, man. You think, you a part of it because your brother's in it. He put in some work here and there, stupidly, but by law, right? Mm-hmm. By street law, you're just a part of it, bro. People associate when they see you, they see him, and vice versa. That's just how it goes. So you want to be from the hood. You watching, right? What? Don't Be a Menace in South Central. You watching Menace in Society. You watching all these gangster movies, and you wanted to go ahead and portray that. South Central,
American Me.
Yo, you know what? Speaking of that, I love
bro. That's like saying that. I gotta put it up. You're not a Spanish gang member if you're not seen Blood in Blood Out, bro.
I mean, that's a fact. I don't know nobody.
Niggas in the cyber want to be Vato Locos, and when they see that gang, and when they actually see that that's an op gang in El Salvador, because that's like FBL. 81 is not with MS, feel me? Even with 18, then they kind of get along. In El Salvador, they were kind of like in peace, just because MS, war against both of them. But
Salaki, bro. Who's the hardest? Spanish? Who's the hardest Northern Kingdom gang, bro? Right? Who's the hardest, bro? Like,
who's
the hardest? Who put in the most
East
work?
Side, they say Lion King. In the West Side. I mean, it falls under the umbrella of Sureños, but in LA County, the motherland.
That's MS-13, right?
Listen, hold on, no, but the one who gets the most attention is mine. MS gets the most attention. Because
even though 18 be around, bro, I don't heard that there's Chinese wearing red banging MS-13. Because it's the meaning behind it is satanic, bro. It's not really about. It has nothing to do with Salvadorian culture. Our people did not know gangs into the war, and we migrated here. That's America did that to us on purpose.
And from what I understand, I saw an interview with a dude that was, early model, right? And he was saying something like, these were like kind of like goth, rocker type.
Yeah, that's what the hand sign. We call it the beast claw. It's like the rock sign. 3/6s, you heard that.
The demonic stuff is in that music.
And I seen that through my uncles. United States was never into like the hip hop. Like I grew up listening to rock, all the CDs I used to steal. But my mom was Christian. We used to go to my uncles, all the Guns N' Roses and shit. They like the ballads one, but then I listened to the harder thing that I started liking. But the Salvadorian was more in the 80s, more towards like rock, because that was like band. So Metallica. So when they got here, that's what they liked. But this that getting punked. My cousin seen it in the late 90s too. He's like the cholos will be like, hey, where you from? He's like, nah, we rockero. Oh, and they would say, oh, yeah, mana, like to pussy them out. Oh, yeah, mana. Mana is a rock band from Mexico, but they sing like only for love. And then like, they're hard rockers, gothic and shit, And so they felt insulted, but they would do that so they wouldn't but they had a fight. They had to click. They went to Inglewood High School,
they went to Inglewood High. Okay.
Yeah, Inglewood High. He was like, he had to cross 18th Street.
Yeah, you had 18.
Like, he had to fight 18th Street one time. He's like, he like, should I go this way? But the shortcut was through the back. He said, and he went to the woods, and the 18s were there. He's like, damn, I was trying to avoid them and shit.
But so you know what's interesting to me, though, because we're all familiar with Oceanside, and in LA it's a little different. But with all the Issachar gangs, it seems like they never beef that much as the Judites.
Well, no, and the only reason you say that, the only reason it feels like that is if you're not involved in what Issachar got going on,
right,
you don't know that.
Right.
But just on the Oceanside thing, Center and Pasole may be the worst beef in Oceanside history.
Oh, I agree.
Center Street.
I agree. I was just talking about Center Street.
He mentioned them both right there.
I agree. That's like as soon as you get to Oceanside, you get off on the 5 on Mission. One side is Center Street, the other side is Pasole. So you have
how they do once they go into prison. They both under 13.
I mean, no, it's all pleasant once they get in jail. You know what I mean?
Why they keep killing this?
Because you have to, but it's the same thing.
It's not money.
The black, listen, Crips and Bloods got to go together once you go to jail. But the Crip and Blood will still have a riot in jail. You see what I'm saying? But you know, it's that's. But
you're saying this. What I noticed in most of the things is like, Jake is just wicked, man. It's stupid, man. Like. Even when we went to do the hits to Hempstead, you know, even though I had Bloods, we didn't really have like rivals like 18th Street in Freeport, but they were over there in Hempstead. You know, we'd rather go to Hempstead, cross Uniondale and all that, popped out our own looking one, you know, a Hispanic or Salvadorian, pop them, then really go get that blood nigga that was 2 blocks away from where I first started with the mission of killing someone.
Everybody always will kill within their house more than that's just
how the most. We live and terrorizing our own, feel me?
Yeah, because if we look at maybe again, if you go to any place MS has spread to, you may find MS having an issue with a black gang. But as far as Motherland, what issue?
We got issues with everybody. There's no such thing as MS having peace with nobody.
But I know that. But what I'm saying is, what major? If we go to LA where MS started, MS-13 don't have a major conflict with any black gang. You see what I'm saying? There's no conflict.
It started in LA?
Yeah, MS is from LA. Okay. Granted, where MS is at is not an area where it's a lot of black people at too. It's just
Parkview, Normandy, North Hollywood.
You have mostly Hispanics and Asians in those areas where
in Hollywood they were going against them Armenian niggas in Hollywood.
Yeah, Armenian Power.
But that's a good question though. Like he said, like what major issues do you have in your homeland though?
In the home.
Well, if you go back to for LA, none of El Salvador, it's El Salvadorian beef. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they don't have, you know what I mean? They don't have that. They mostly their big conflict, of course, is with 18. You know what I'm saying? That's a big game. See, but you know what they call 18. They call 18 is like the Hoovers of Mexico.
Yeah, that's a big game.
Because they don't. We got to fight them. We got to fight them. And the thing is that's in El Salvador. Salvador is such a word that it's only them two. It's because the 18s were established in El Salvador way before MS-13 was established.
Yeah, MS-13.
Because they were already there. So once Central America started immigrating, at the same time that they were starting to they started MS and then they started getting jumped into MS, niggas were first getting jumped into 18th Street. 18th Street even had peace with, we had to have peace with them. We had to talk to them. I heard that the history is that MS had to go to 18th Street to see if we could start MS-13. Because first it was called MS-13 Stoners. There was no 13 there. It was just a click.
That must have been later.
Stoners became the first click.
See, the Stoners is this though. You gotta understand.
And it was just potheads listening to metal.
But that was a big deal in LA with Mexican gangs. Before they became gangs, it was this huge. I just heard a whole thing where it's El Salvadorian. I believe he's either El Salvadorian or Honduran, but he's from North Hollywood boys.
With the Vlad interview?
American Cholo. No. American Cholo. Oh. If anybody sees on YouTube, but he was talking about the stoner. No. Okay. But it's called there was like a whole era in LA where all the Mexicans, they was coming out with such and such stone, and now you see them stoners with the 13 like these are official gangs. But these were literally they just started as cliques of Hispanic kids that got high and had a name, and they might tag. And then eventually,
it didn't get hard to had a party. Yeah. Some nigga was drunk, got disrespected, and I think 18 nigga got popped. Or I think 18 got he had to show up. You know, they were ready again. He popped an MS, so an MS was like, damn, you know, we got peace with them, but you know, since we're under them, that nigga felt like he could, you know,
punk and kill an MS-13.
And now we got to stand up.
Yeah, but now we got to do it.
Now we
and at the same time, those were the first kids. At the same time, once it became a gang, it started attracting more of the niggas that were coming from Central America who had military training.
Yeah.
They knew how to make a bomb with like you get a softball and you put glass, nails, and broken shit, and you make it with a little powder, but certain pressure. It depends how much pressure you throw that, bro. It's a grenade, man.
That even goes back to the scriptures, though, right?
Yeah, it's Issachar and Zebulon, who were experts with weapons of war, right? So this is how we know. This is why when people go, and that's why I start that a lot of times. If somebody asks me, well, prove the 12 tribe chart, I'm going to start with one or two. It's going to be two sets. One of Salaki, how do I say this? I'm going to start with two tribes, either Levi and Simeon or Issachar and Zebulon, because that's the easy. You can build off of that because we could go look how well they fit the description. Right, both of these two, because both of them two are tied together more than any other two tribes are. Right. Levi and Simeon were like this, and Issachar and Zebulon. That's why it says Zebulon Zebulon in the tents of Issachar. You see what I'm saying? So that it's. Both of those are clicked up to a way, and if we go to the prophecies and the descriptions, it's so evident that it's about. So then everybody else can fall in place after that. You see what I'm saying? Just boom. I used to always go to Levi and Simeon more, but now I'll go to Issachar and Zebulon a lot because people have popularized, especially how Issachar do in the prisons.
I was just about to say that. You guys are well more starting off from the Emma.
Exactly.
Like, that shit is crazy.
That's what stoners had to be dropped down and we did 13.
Had to put that,
even though we
don't,
niggas could still say, bro, and they still be MS and they still have that 13 in it. And they from LA where they have to deal with M8.
Nothing like that.
We gotta be under them, bro. They too big, bro.
Nothing like that. There's no hierarchy.
We had to be under them.
It's like the Muslims.
But you had to understand. They tried with BGF. When all this shit came out in the prisons, when all this shit came out, first it came with the M, the 13.
Yeah.
And the Northern California Mexicans, they weren't going for that shit. So that's when they came with the 14. But then it was like, okay, well, black and white, what are they going to do? Then black came with Black Guerrilla Family, and the white boys came with Aryan
Brotherhood.
Hey, bro, listen, that might have been first. Aryan Brotherhood probably was first.
Because they were the ones doing most of the, they
got to remember, even American Miami started in Folsom.
Yeah, exactly. All this shit started in prison.
Yeah, it started in prison.
Because it came with a standardized prison to where when somebody came in, they could be anybody, a random Mexican, a random black, a random... If they don't have somebody to represent them, it's over for them. So now that representation is automatic where you're black, you're going here, you're Latino, you're going here, you're white, you're going here, and if you're anything else,
you're Muslim.
Nigga, you're going over there. Because then they have the others. The Asians, the Polynesians, that's the others. You see what I'm saying? And then once you get...
I've seen that white boy act, they'd be like...
West Watson.
This is how it is. I'm not racist. You're not gonna come and change anything here. This is the program.
But look, West Watson's cat because now watch this.
It's Sureños right here with the primos.
Now watch this though.
With the others.
Blacks with the others in Norte, right? Right. But the thing about West Watson is from Oceanside, right?
Okay.
And if I ask, now listen, if I ask anybody from Oceanside, nobody knows who that is. So and then there's a lot of Mexicans. There's a lot of Mexicans a lot of Mexicans came out saying, bro, hey, he talked about a riot. It was a dude from Alavia that talked about it. He was like, he talked about a riot. He was like, I was in that riot. He was not in that riot. And that riot was like, I think Judah moved on an Asian dude. And then like accidentally something happened where Issachar, and Issachar got like accidentally brought into it, but then it ended up, we went up with Issachar behind it. You see what I'm saying? So it was a huge thing, and it was a huge riot. He was like, that riot was no joke, and that white boy was not a part of it. He said, the white boys really didn't even jump at all. It was just Southside and blacks that jumped on it.
Even here, I see that they're not organized in the Georgia prison, man.
No. Well, look,
white boys are mules, the bitches,
I'm gonna put it to you.
They have no rights.
I'm gonna put it to you like this too. And it's different. Like we gotta understand. Just maybe in certain places, but we know not widespread. When you go, if you watch the movie, American History X.
Great.
It's brought out when he's working with the brother, and the brother goes, "You're the nigger in here, bro." You see what I'm saying? Like, we run this shit. Everything, especially when you in California jail, it's either the blacks are running it or the Mexicans are running it, and there's nobody else who gets to say shit in here. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna lose. You cannot beat those two. These crackers have went out of their way to lock us up as much as they can, or you know, and push us into criminality to where once you get in that jail system, nigga, that's us.
I was seeing something like that, how like that. I know the history. I think because I tell you the AB was the brand, as they say, was there first. The Mexicans had to go to them first. But I think these motherfuckers, how it is, how we outnumber them, you know, and we breathe them out. Because they were up top in the 60s where we didn't. Even outside as free men, we didn't have no voice. Right. Feel me? In there, and we started, you know, taking over the prison. Even back then, the prisons, I think, they had a big population of white people in them.
But see, we forget, it's a lot. But see, we're forgetting though, right? In Chicago, there was a whole nother movement going on, right? So even though we're talking about, like, you know, Judite, we didn't have no strong militant force in the prisons. Not that we're glorifying prison systems at all.
But in the Midwest,
it was going in.
See, but also in the Midwest, the interesting thing about the Midwest is when you where in California you have Bloods, Crips, Norteños, Sureños. In the Midwest you have the folk nation and the people nation. Now, but the thing is, in the folk nation and the people nation, it's black and Hispanic in both. Quiet as it's kept, there's even white gangs.
White gangs.
There's like Polish gang, Italian gang. But what the cold thing is, Issachar and Ephraim have took over a lot of the white gangs to where the white gangs have turned into Spanish gangs.
They was doing that in Oceanside.
See what I'm saying?
It was looking like it.
Exactly. Yeah. Issachar taking over the white boy shit, but. You know, but that's the thing. So in the Midwest, it's like, okay, the folks go together. So you're gonna have Satan disciples, gangster disciples, Spanish gangster disciples, all in one thing. Vice lords, Latin kings, fork on us, they'll be together. You see what I'm saying? Now, if your gang is deep enough, you might have your whole gang might have its own thing. You know what I mean? But when it comes time to like eat and shit, first they say the folks eat, then the people eat. Then if you're not a part of any, you're neutral. Then the neutral motherfuckers eat.
And see, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, you know the history. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
They had the organization.
Right.
We got to remember, though, when they formulated their shit, they formulated it predicated upon organization and structure.
Exactly.
We got to remember that middle school students started Crips and Bloods. Right, so when you're dealing with
it was all based off though just protecting our neighborhood though.
No, fuck.
From the police.
No, that's a myth.
Community restoration in progress.
Yes, that's a myth. Raymond Washington started the Crips at 13 years old because he wanted to join the Avenues, and the Avenues rejected him.
Because he wasn't black, or because he was black? What?
No, the Avenues. This is not this is not the Mexican Avenues. There was a whole black gang called the Avenues on the east side of South Central. And they rejected them. And these were niggas that, you know, older, and they prided themselves on their physique. And all
Tukey Williams and all them.
But this is why Tukey and them did that, because these are the niggas they looked up to. So what happened, and the reason why they pride themselves on their physique is so they can knock niggas out as quick as possible without messing their clothes. It was all about looking good. You see what I'm saying? And getting girls.
Pachuco's niggas was still
exactly. Pachuco, and that's how the niggas dress too.
The new cholo's really lame.
For the new cholo,
the old school cholo try to, you know, look kind of like the new one, but they were trying to keep it, you know, stilo, man. They still kind of do, bro, because starching up them dickies. You know, I see homie, bro.
No, but what you gotta understand is,
we New York don't do that, but in the South, bro, since I jumped in from up down motherland, and I got like transferred to New York because, you know, it's just a whole story, my shit. But yeah, I seen El Salvador starts to be more Cali. Feel me?
Listen, they're trying to be Cali, but Cali's not dressing like that no more.
Nah.
Cali dress all the young. If you young black or Hispanic, we're all dressing the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
but also
old school cholos with that.
And people don't like it. But the problem is, it's not. We got to understand that a lot of us are not. We don't understand culture as much as we think we do. When you got people around each other, cultures sync. They synchronize, right? So now Mexicans are borrowing words from black people. Black people are borrowing words from Mexicans. They're buying refreshments. They're doing all this shit because you are around these motherfuckers. Now a new culture is being created. That's a syncretism of hope. There's a lot of people that are against it on both sides.
They're like, yo, we're not with that nigga shit. So even if we tell people like, that's our word, it's in the Bible, this and that. Old school veterano would be like, yo, we're cool with blacks and all that. But that's not our word.
Yeah, we're not supposed to call each other niggas. You know what I'm saying?
You can't call each other niggas.
Put it like this.
I get a violation from my little ponytail right here because I'm Sureño. I can't have long hair.
See, but
that's a Mongolian tail.
No, exactly. And the Nortes always be having their shit long.
Right.
But the cold thing is, I remember when I was...
And that's what kind of does it.
When I was locked up
from being Mayan.
In 2013, exactly, because the Mayans and the Aztecs wore long hair anyway. So that's really cultura from Mexico and Central America. But the code, when I was locked up in 2013, and I remember because it wasn't as popular, we heard the niggas on the East Coast, Ephraim, Simeon, we know they said nigga, they've been saying nigga. That's a regular thing.
That's a regular thing.
But we had niggas from Cali or like motherland or
they wasn't doing that shit.
They're like, what you call me, vato? Hey, trying to get the 13, get me a violation for calling him that. That means that in their cliques where they come from, I'm like, yeah, homie, nah.
I'm from New York, bro. We do it different.
Yeah, it's not LA. Totally. That's the motherland.
You see, but the problem is, like I was saying, in 2013, we was on the tables, and it was this. I ain't gonna say his name. I'll say his hood. A nigga from Logan Heights, Mexican brother from Logan Heights.
Okay.
He called his homeboy. He was like, "Hey, nigga," and I remember the brothers. We was like, "Damn, we just heard that Mexican call that other Mexican nigga like." That was like a moment, like it was peculiar because it wasn't popular. It wasn't popular at that time. But flash forward, now we're 9 years later, and now that's regular.
It's just regular.
That's regular. Yeah. But also again, certain people don't like it. You have certain black people that don't want to hear it. You have certain Latino people that don't want to hear it. But the but is you cannot stop culture. There's a cultural fusion that's happening. You can be as mad as you want to be. There's a lot of shit that's going on in this world that people don't like, but they're not stopping it. You can't stop the way it's going.
Right.
Go ahead,
I'm trying to say it's the Sureño rap. It's the Sureño named Toker. He don't got no look to be an artist, feel me? He might rap, his raps, I don't know, some people like scary thing Sureño, but he talks shit about some of the other Sureño niggas from Cali who are more known. This new name, Mr. Criminal and Mr. Capone, right? They started High Power and they signed they signed a lot of Mexicans, but they themselves ain't Mexicans. And so it's such a thing like, yo, why did you? Like, hey, homie, he does this videos like, you see them, they never wear the Mexican flag. I'm like, yo, but Sureño is so big. Like, we Sureños, MS-13s are not gonna wear around the flag. But we have, and the dude in the that's why I asked you in the thing. In the V-Lab interview to MS-13, he was not Mexican. He was Mexican in an MS-13 gang.
Exactly.
In prison, he used to get it from these Mexicans, bro.
Now here's
what, you Mara in Mexican?
Here's the cool thing about it, though.
And I know a few of them.
Here's the parallel. We know Crips wear blue and Sureños wear blue. We know Norte wear red and Bloods wear red. But here's the thing. Sureños and Crips have the similarity where you can find every race that's in both of those gangs.
Every race.
That's the one where literally everybody's in both of them shits. You know what I mean? A white boy, a gook, you know what I'm saying? The same thing. You go to Sureños, it'd be the same thing. Every race is in there.
Black Sureños.
Yo, bro.
First
time I ever seen that.
It's a lot. It's a lot of black Sureños, and it's a lot of Mexicans joining black gang. It's a lot. Listen,
I hear that.
Listen,
Cobb County nothing but Mexican bloods.
See, and here's a cold thing though. Somebody made a meme on LA Hood media about Hovers, and they said, man, somebody from their hood got to work for immigration because about half of their new generation, nigga, is Mexican El Salvador. Like half, bro.
It's all about though these people, whether you're Issachar or Judite, you moving into these neighborhoods, and that's what you see. Going back to your point. You're just into that culture.
It's the culture.
That's all you see.
The culture of your community, and then that goes going back now to the beginning.
Right.
At what moment, you know what I mean? Do we become conscious of the fact that there's these gangs where we live at? When you know what I'm saying? When does it happen? I know for me that nobody had a conversation with me and schooled me to this. I just knew. Like, nobody told me the difference between Crips and Blood. I don't remember having a conversation about none of this shit.
Will never be told.
I just remember, I just knew this. Like, I know there was some time in between kindergarten and second grade where I came into this realization. Yeah. And then I said,
second grade.
I want, bro, at the old, no, it had to be kindergarten and first grade. Because by second grade, I was full-fledged claiming the gang by that point.
Really?
We would listen. A nigga came in our class and said he was a Blood, and we jumped him for that. Just for saying that. Bro, in second grade, mind you, I'm in second grade with the first nigga that the California niggas put on in my community, his daughter and her cousin. Like, their whole family are the originals that got put on from California. So these are my best friends. What else? Then on top of that, when I go home, my next door neighbor, or they live across the alley, their whole family is some of the top niggas. You see what I'm saying? So at that point, I mean, I again, nobody said anything. This is what's going on, and I'm going to be a part of this.
And see, that
sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, there's a couple of things I wanted to ask. Remind me to kind of touch upon the misnomer in Southern California, how there's this misnomer about how blacks and Hispanics is just this ethnic war between the two parties.
Well, like we said in the beginning, it's really more black killing black and brown killing brown.
Exactly.
I was just watching the video about that. It actually was the what they call them niggas over there by Long Beach, 9-something Crips.
The Longos. Yeah, in Long Beach, that's going on.
They had peace with Florencia.
Yeah. No, East Coast. You talking about East Coast?
East Coast.
But that's what
they robbed Florencia.
But that's squashed now, though.
Right.
They work to squash it.
No. Much blood between us.
No, it's
some niggas saying they cannot squash that.
It's squashed, and you know what they did to the main nigga that organized squashing? You know who reached out about F-13? The one who reached out about squashing it from prison. Now here's the thing: the main nigga who they on the East Coast side that squashed it, which is a dude by the name of Lil Doc Thorne from 6ix9ine East Coast. You know what they did after he organized that whole thing?
What?
All of a sudden he gets hit with a fucking RICO for a murder that he already beat in state.
Wow, you can do that?
Because it's not. It's not federal. The feds
us to kill ourselves.
The feds ain't. Soon as they heard, because that F-13 and that's it. Because here's how tricky F-13 in East Coast is. They all live in the same. They all like. Your neighbor could be F-13 and you're East Coast. Right. On the same street because, you know, the black and Mexican, that border, the Mexicans got their own borders and black got their own borders. Right. So they live with each other. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's it. So that's how treacherous. It's the same thing in Compton with the CV70s and like the Acacia blocks. It's like, but, you know, my neighbor is CV70 on Acacia and now we're into it. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's why it can get trickier. And also the media gives it more attention because they want to propagate a divide, but for the most part, Issachar is looking to smoke another Issacharite and a Judite or a Mexican is looking to smoke a Mexican and a black dude. He's looking to kill another black dude.
You know what?
Go ahead.
What I really wanted to ask about is, since both of y'all coming from Southern California, right? How big could you describe the gang culture is? Especially, we know of other places it's huge, but in Southern California specifically, how big is it? And could you maybe give possibly a scenario that kind of, you know, elaborates to that?
Let me say this. It's almost as standard as being black or being Mexican. That's like the next, okay, I'm black, you're Mexican, I'm a Crip, you're like that. It's just like the next step of that.
That should be on the job description.
Like damn near.
I mean, just like the brother was saying, it's as easy as breathing because I have two things, right? I have one myself, an example of you know, I have family who grew up, you know, who was born into the Crips. Is actually one of the not one of the originators, but a part of that timeline of the
that first class.
That first class of DVC, D Valley Crip, right? But
which Officer Yadai, for those of y'all who know, Officer Yadai of the San Diego camp is an original D Valley Crip.
And I met the brother. Yeah, good brother. We have a good conversation. And then I had a homie, right, who grew up, he was a skater, had no ties, Issachar, had no ties to the gang life, none of that. All of a sudden, when he hits 9th grade and he gets that touch of that sense of gang, now he wants to be a part of it. So I'm saying that to say that it's easy as hell. It's just as breathing. It's just as easy as breathing. You know what I'm saying? Because down there, you have these areas where you have the whites and then you have the black areas. And you have the SA areas. Right. There is no in between. there is like no middle class. Is that you got the rich white people and then you got us.
You got us.
You know what I'm saying? You got us. So in those in our areas, you see nothing but gangs and nothing but those types of violence and crimes and blah blah blah.
And then too, then you got, like you said, you might have a kid that maybe he didn't grow up there, but his cousins are from there or whatever. He goes around it, and you know he likes it, and he wants to be a part of that too. You know that there's that. You know, there's so many draws to it. You know what I mean? Like,
and the movies are getting put out.
Yeah, the movies.
I mean,
and on top of that, like, it's just the shit. It just seems so cool. It just seems it's just like, we're from here and this is what we do. That's literally how it was put to me. We're from here and this is what we do. If you want to be a part of what's going on in this community for real, like, you can be the kid that just plays outside a little bit and you know you go in the house and you know whatever, you might have a couple friends, but if you want to be like the nigga, you know what I'm saying, like these cool, like, you know, I just know for me, being a little kid and seeing the older niggas on the street and just seeing what they did and how cool they just looked and they were just kicking it, you know what I mean? It's just like, bro, I want to hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? I want to but like, okay, well, this is what you want to hang out with us. Go do this. Right. And that's what they would tell me. And then I just go do it because I want to be down. That's that good old saying. I just want to be down.
And the fucked up thing about it is, like I was bringing out, is that's the same thing that happened to them. They don't know no better. They don't. It's a cycle. Yeah, it's a cycle. You guys, the curses, right? It's Deuteronomy 28, right? But it's such a cycle that those brothers, they won't even stop to tell you, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean, you have some brothers, don't get me wrong. You have a few brothers that will tell you that. There's decent guys in there, right, that are trying to get out. But those are usually the people that have already banged, already put in the work, as they call it, and they're about done. Right. Now they trying to tell you another lifestyle.
I had my cousin ask me, you know, he wanted to get down and shit, and, you know, and start a section of my clique in Suffolk, in that side of town. And, you know, I love my cousin, you know, and I knew that what I did was a stupid ass decision. You know, I got into a satanic circle organization that it's all about death, especially from Virginia. That way, we're not even about drugs. We're just about killing. It's just about, we want to be the most killing, more feared. We want to be known as the demons of Satan. You know, Satan's army out in this world. You know, just taking lives, sacrificing lives to him. That's the real meaning about it. Because like in King and Bloods in New York, it's different. It's like totally compared to Cali, they're gonna give you. The first thing that comes with the membership card is an ounce of something, nigga. You gotta go make money for this. That's why they fight for them blocks. Cause in prison, they're both under the 5. They cool. Everybody else is against both of them, and they so damn big. But now, like, King really's dying down. You know, the Damien took it over. You know, Patria is out there, bro.
You know what, bro? Like, it's interesting you say that, even though, you know, we know it, but to go a little deeper. Like, you know, these types of talks happen in the prison systems and in certain households and all that, but have we ever collectively as a whole ever sat down amongst the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom and say, look, bro, y'all doing this, y'all doing that, we're still in the same ghettos, like, why is this happening to us?
Well, some are doing it. Some are doing it now.
I'm talking about, though, like in the grand scheme of things, right? Like
Esau's got to keep that going on.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's all survivor is of us being divided.
Exactly. Right. So that's gotta. It's.
We know that now, but I'm saying while we're out of the truth, and while we're in the thick of it, doing our thing, how come? None of our elders, none of our, you know what I'm saying, OGs told us, like, yo,
these things get down, they just do it in wickedness, right?
Absolutely.
Because if the head of MA don't sit down with the head of BGF, who regulates what price is going to be what?
No, exactly.
Feel me?
They're having it at the highest level. Like you're saying, at the highest level, they're having these conversations.
You cannot, just because you not sell cheaper, and that black man is gonna come back buy from you as a Mexican.
Absolutely.
He can't.
Absolutely.
He has to go back to. He has to go to a black man and buy his shit. Ain't no Mexican gonna be allowed to buy from no black man.
And I'm gonna tell you like,
but they say they can't even eat it.
At the bigger level behind. See, because look, I'm gonna put it to you like this: when I was locked up, you know what I'm saying. You know, a black nigga had to work, right? And, you know, Issachar's coming, knocking on the door for the work. But when it came time for payment, they sent Esau to come make that motherfucking payment because they didn't want it, the other. But the one who was knocking on the door had the keys. So he's doing whatever the fuck he want. Who gonna tell on him? I mean, if somebody finds out, they can tell, but they'd have to find out.
Right.
So when not only does he have the keys, but he's the worker in the mod. So he's the worker. That means he has access to come knock on a black cell when everybody's locked in their cells. So the other Mexicans don't see it. All they know is they're high now. They don't know, oh, you had to go to the blacks to get high. You see what I'm saying? Which they're not supposed to do. But see, on that high level, they'll do it. See, that be the thing about the selective rules shit. Because, you know, the black rules in jail is we can deal with anybody. It doesn't matter, right? Whoever got it, we can buy, sell, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's the South Side that got that regulation where we only doing where who clicked up with. You see what I'm saying? They're not, you know, so whoever they clicked up with, that's what they're doing. But see, it was cold because Wes Watson even broke it down how the white boys had a shit to where they'll click up with the Sureños, but they, like, if it's a black Sureño, they still won't, they can't eat after a black Sureño. You see what I'm saying? Sureño looking at like the South Side, it don't matter what they are. We're dealing with Esau is looking at, no, he's still black.
But hey. And I seen it because I was locked up. I could show you the video of a tiny loco right here from Little Devil Click in Marietta. You know, he's black, big 6 foot. Fucking what's his name? Suspect, bro. He gave him life for shooting a motherfucker in the leg. Life for shooting someone in the leg. They just got other charge, gang, or so. You know, they had it up. But he didn't kill him.
But he MS.
Nah, he's Sureño.
Okay.
He's Sureño. Got the line with Joker thing.
See, but that type of shit is frightening to him.
It's big thing. He's a Sureño all day. And he puts work, man. Motherfucker's a warrior, man. But it's a whole difference when it comes to being a paisa. Feel me? Because you have the gang members, Sureño, especially here. Paisas are like a whole gang.
Even in California, Paisas are a gang.
Paisa 16, feel me?
For real?
Paisa 16.
I didn't know they had 16. Okay.
Yeah, out here in Georgia, feel me? They're not gang, and that's when it goes. Cause like I don't know how Sureños do it, but like a lot of my cousin tells me for sure. You know, Nieta, he joined Nieta in the feds right now. He got 15 Chepe. You know, he's like, yo, I had to go Nieta. They check paperwork, bro. I'm not here for no bitch shit. Feel me? He's like, I ain't gonna be, you know, no raper ass, you know, doing 10. They ain't gonna live with me, feel me? And I feel that. And paisas, and sometimes paisas go in there for rape charges is because, you know, we don't respect that 18. Yo, shorty giving it up at 16. Shorty can get it, you know? She already piping. That's what they see, you know? In El Rancho, they don't even let them pass 13. When they rob them, and then the tradition is they got a week to go claim that girl. If not, that's your woman, you know, that's you. Feel me? And they don't let it go. But that's, you know, that Indian, that we call the Indian, you know, that uncivilized, they say, mentality, you know? Right. But Khan, I would say it's just totally different. Like he said, it comes to a whole culture when you see Sebulan to Issachar. You know, if in your eyes are the same.
But if people don't understand, there's a lot of similarities, but there's huge cultural differences between Central Americans and Mexicans. That's right. And then, you know, but they're tied together. But But
I would say that the modern day gang, especially for Central Americans, this is all Issachar. I wouldn't say Issachar, because Issachar from Mexico is different than LA and Chicano.
Yeah, of course. And I remember seeing the
They come here, they want to speak with that lingua. But
that's not how they.
You know, it's just.
I seen the DVD back in the day where Issachar, it was Mexicans from LA, and man, they was doing all type of wild shit, but they were just talking shit about Mexicans from Mexico. And like you Paisa motherfuckers,
better, bro.
Way better than you. Like, fuck you Paisa motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes some of them don't know that they were brought here when they were babies. They get deported. They asked us in Mexico.
You can't tell me that Northern and Southern Kingdom ain't in the Bible, bro. Because we've been doing this shit forever.
Bro, listen. Kingdom beefing, inter-tribe beefing. Nigga, I'm next to the white man. Fuck you. I'm better than you, nigga. Right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, you're next to the white man, so fuck you. You're a South. You see us? Our people, tribe to tribe, will literally find anything to not like another motherfucker. That's right, bro. I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you about this too. But Levi, we probably do it the least out of every tribe, bro. Levi does it the least out of every tribe. Not that we won't still do it, but like Levi. Now here's the thing though. Now I haven't been to Haiti, so in Haiti it's different. It's a lot more cutthroat. But as far as if you're a Haitian that's outside of Haiti,
bomb,
nigga, it's automatic.
Hold on, so
it's so like
1 second.
It's so, y'all so weird, bro.
But so,
In the
no,
Caribbean,
no, it's not
among
weird.
Spanish speakers, being the darkest out of the island, I would say, because you go, yo, me not black, papi, you know? Bro, you fucking black. My cousin got it with some bloods from Jersey in Westbury, bro. But mind you, my cousin he's prieto, he's black. And my homegirl's sister was there. She's like, yo, tell me why these niggas were like yellow bone niggas. They were lighter than your cousin, Dragon. He's like, fuck you niggas, get out of my hood, la mara, que fighting. And the dude came proper. He was just all red, you know? Hey, y'all know where, he said, you know where, what's the street, man, Prospect at? You know where Prospect and Westbury's at? Blood Hood. My cousin like, you know?
But hold on,
no, you
it's a lot, though. I could be wrong, so, but were y'all scattered as much as Judah and Israel?
Well, no, we're the most scattered. According to the Bible, we're the most scattered.
Okay.
Listen, we're from Argentina to Canada. There's not.
Khan, I was gonna say that
because
I personally grew up with a handful, like
Canadians just feel like everybody.
Handful of Haitians. No.
That's our main. That's the main.
Handful.
My family
Quebecois is filled with them.
Okay.
You got Windsor, London, Ontario, all the way, all throughout Ontario, all the way to Quebec.
We're scattered.
Haitian. All of that.
It might not be much, but you're gonna find at least one there. Bro.
Listen, you gonna go to Mexico?
We had one in
and Jamaica, West Indies.
Yes, if you go to Mexico, we're there. If you go to Central America, we're there. If you go to South America, we're there. You go to any one of them Caribbean islands, nigga, we're there. You come to America, we're there. We're the only ones that are everywhere. Like, even how you see Issachar here, if you go to Brazil, you're not going to see Mexicans. Haitians will be in Brazil. You go to Argentina, you're not going to see Mexicans. You'll see Haitians in Argentina. Chile, you ain't going to see, you'll see us there, though. You see what I'm saying? We're the only ones that literally, like the scripture said, we have an inheritance. We don't have an inheritance. Our inheritance is we get to come and live in your shit. I get to come and live in your shit, bro. And you niggas is supposed to look out. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. That's why we're going to Mexico so heavy, is because once we start going to Mexico heavy, Issachar looked out. So now we're like, okay, we're fucking with Issachar.
You know why I say that though? And again, this is me being a babe in the truth.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all out of respect.
Of course.
The reason why I say that, okay, so you just said it, right? You guys are assimilated in every single culture.
Every culture.
Don't really know, but you guys are there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You guys look like everybody. It's just that we can identify Judah here a little bit
very clearly.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, and I'm pretty sure there may be some people out there that think the same thing. I don't know. You guys have, even though that's not our homeland,
we have a land.
You guys have a land. We don't have that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like,
no, we have that thing that we have that culture that
it
ties us to where we understand what we all came from. That's like even other tribes.
That's everything.
Benjamin, the Northern Kingdom too will be like that, but I would say that we're just like that a little bit more. But if it's just one, just like if it's one El Salvadorian and he sees another one, that you got to, unless the nigga's just a total sellout. You see what I'm saying?
Because y'all like that. Y'all like that heavy in New Orleans and the NO.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like heavy.
We're gonna stay together, but just like with any tribe, if it's a big enough population of us where we don't have to stay together, nigga, we gonna start killing each other. You see what I'm saying? That's how every tribe. If it's 10 fucking El Salvadorians, nigga might be cool. Let it be 200, nigga. We gonna start. They gonna start clapping, nigga. We gonna find something to be for.
Okay, but that's the only reason why I say that, because we don't necessarily have our own land mass.
But we
can call our own.
We stick together. Just from my observation of pretty much, I've seen pretty much all the tribes. I'm just, except Naphtali, I'm not like Naphtali and Reuben, the two tribes I'm not as experienced with, even though I know people from both of them tribes, not in numbers. But as far as like being able to see communities of every single tribe, 10 of them out of 12 I've seen. I'd say that we have a togetherness more than other tribes.
I would agree.
You know
I would agree.
And Khan Salaki, I was going to say that, one, I think a lot of people, especially Judah, have a misconception because we're so Canada and America. We don't get out to Jamaica. We don't get out to Haiti. We don't get out to Venezuela. We don't get out to Cuba. But if we actually did, you know, like even with my parents, they go to Cuba, our family goes to Cuba, you know, we've been to Jamaica, all the different places. Like I was showing Hassan right now with Haiti, there's really bad rebellion going on right now in Haiti. And we as Judites really have never experienced that at all. Like what
political instability?
Yeah, political instability to
that's
to
a
where
good point. That's a great point.
Yeah, to where the point where you see in the streets fires and machetes and just things
Cops
going on, cops getting killed, you know, things that you would see. It's funny because if you look in France last year, you were seeing the yellow vest protests, people going crazy too. You see the same thing. We've never really experienced that. Although we've experienced the chattel slavery, of course,
but
living amongst Esau every day. Gotta look at Esau and he's looking, you know, even the other day.
You're in the neck of your enemy.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, but I do want to also make sure, like, people they need to be once a week looking at Haiti, looking at Jamaica, looking at Venezuela, looking at what's going on with our brothers and sisters, because it's easy to get into the Judite mindset and not really see.
I would say
there's things.
That's a great point.
Like even when you show me,
sleep in this dream that
that's a great point.
Everything, the whole world is like here.
It's like here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was trying to say that, like, even a Salvadoran, right? He could be from New York, but if that nigga never been to Salvador,
yeah,
he could say he's Salvadorian, but he will never really understand that like
the struggle of being Salvadoran.
In the Salvadoran eyes, he's just another nigga from America.
Right.
And they act to me that knows both. He acts like a nigga from here. Feel me? Like you said, where he grows up. I have a Salvadorian homie. He ended up being Salvadorian, but he was chilling with the Bloods before. Mm-hmm. So a lot of homies felt like, yo, this nigga's a chavala. Right. But why? It's because his mother felt to such a point that she grew up in Section 8. Who was the majority in the Section 8 building?
Black. Judah. Yeah, Judah.
In
Right.
Bruceville, in Long Island.
So that's what he's gonna run with.
Right. Yeah, that's what his sister's married to a Judite.
See,
his whole family's blood.
And that's the thing too. What people gotta understand is, because I remember when Zod or Blackie, the Black Sereno started getting popular on YouTube, mm-hmm. and you have black people like, oh, you're a traitor, this and that. But he's like, nah. I mean, shit. I grew up with these dudes. I wanted to go with this. I like the way they do it. What's the problem? You know what I mean? But they're just thinking about, well, when you get to prison, you're attacking black people. But also, there's going to be, what about the Mexican Crip that was in that group that's going to stab him? Bro, he knows, because he knows if you're the Issacharite nigga that's with the blacks, Issachar's going to come for you harder than anybody, bro.
I got a question. I got a question because Kanawha brought out a great point. And I think that is such a key topic that can be talked about on so many different levels, bro, because you know, essentially what you're saying, bro, is that because you have these other tribes, especially on these other islands that have been oppressed, they've seen it in a way that we haven't really seen it in America. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more so isolated, whereas America, we see it, but it's such at a broader scale, if that's a word that I'm using, right?
Yeah,
so
real quick, just to that point, perfect example, real fast, and this blew my mind. And it was to Chiefs when he talked about Zebulon and Issachar, experts of war. When they talked about the MS-13s, they said America has never seen in a gang or men of that age, right, coming in with military experience like that. Right. Judah don't have that type of military experience. Like you were saying, we've never been, we've never had to face where we've had to actually be a military for ourselves.
That's right.
Whereas Zebulon, you know what I'm saying, Haiti, Levi,
even though we're not,
they've had to be, they've literally had to be military for themselves.
And that's why
Esau
came and disbanded the Haitian military. And then once a couple years ago when we started to reboot it, the American government really tried to intervene with that situation. Because they know, like, you know, we can't let them do that again.
Right.
Because once we had that, first off, we had a straight guerrilla. Where do you think guerrilla Hebrew comes from? We had a straight guerrilla army that we built, and just guerilla style. And that's the same way El Salvador do it. The same way most of us, all black and Hispanic, do it. We got to do it guerrilla. Because they're not going to come and train us. But see, they're dumbass. That's when the crackers was doing a line and they would just shoot and duck, and the next one would come and shoot and duck. And we're like, okay, well, we're just going to come from the side of you idiots. and kill you.
March straight to the villain.
Right. But hold on, because I don't want to forget this. I want to remember. So I got a statement and I got a question, right? Goes back to your point again. The Akin brought out a great point. A traveling man, even in the scriptures, right? A traveling man is, what does it say?
Traveling man has much wisdom,
right?
Because you got experience from traveling.
That's right. So seeing the world and seeing all these different signs of oppression. But here's my question. In the scriptures, right? I can't pinpoint it right now, but the Most High talks about that Babylon will be somewhat of a light to all the rest of the nations, right? Or
whoever has the power is going to be the light. Yeah.
So the question, not so. I'm talking about Judah, though. I'm talking about Israel, though, in Babylon.
Well, Judah, thou is who thy brethren shall praise. Is the best equivalent that you could.
Now, is that only because we're the top tribe? But because my question was going to be is that, and
you being in Babylon, being the top tribe, I mean that's a given.
Okay. So I was going to try to ask a question about, like, in those countries, like I brought out, where they seen the most oppressions, where it was really, really isolated on those countries. You would think because they're rebelling, because you got the Haitian Revolution. You would think with those people being Israel, they're going to see it on a whole different level than we have, because we're so just in la-la land, right? America, yeah. So how is it that we're going to be the lights? You know what I'm saying?
Because all we still going to see is Tupac and 50 Cent and fucking Michael Jordan. And that's all a nigga wants to be. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the coldest thing about it. Like, there's a movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Ghost of City Soleil. But you see what I'm saying? I'm with you. It's called The Ghost of City Soleil. And the main character in that is a nigga named Tupac. But this is a true story. This is not a movie. But he's a Haitian nigga, and he just said, they just call me Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Because yet and still, Judah is still who the brethren shall. We all are still, whether motherfucker will admit it or not, we all are still looking to Judah for everything. And the Most High set that up, bro, like that.
Like, we don't want to say nigga, but we rap.
But look, nigga got the Yankee. The New York Yankee hat is the most popular hat in the world. Why? Because niggas in New York wore it, and everybody was like,
niggas couldn't play that team before.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I'm saying? So it's even like when you seen the Northern Kingdom getting off in the baseball heavy. During that time, because Northern Kingdom wasn't always in the baseball.
Yeah.
Manessa was, maybe Ephraim, but not the way it is now, where you have everybody into it.
Simeon,
you see what I'm saying? But who was the niggas that was coming? It was Judah that came in.
That's right.
Who broke the color line? Judah, because the Negro Leagues.
That's a great point.
You forget the Negro Leagues had Cuban and Puerto Rican teams that played in the Negro Leagues too.
That's right. That's right.
But got their popularity, and then they start getting off into it. You see what I'm saying? So everybody's still looking to Judah, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it. Subconsciously, everybody's looking up to, like this. Like, you have these Issacharites now that do these music videos. They're doing traditional fucking Mexican music. Yeah. And it's a trap video.
Yeah.
It's fucking double up. You know what I mean? Because that's how LA. Listen, and Levi, nigga, I'll show you some trap shit in Haiti right now. Why though? Why? Right. Because we're still all looking to Judah. We're all trying to be like Judah at the end of the day.
And you know what? I'm so glad you brought that out. And I'm not. There's probably a lot of people that thought the same or are asking those same questions who are in the truth, who understand the history. But going along with the history, right? It just goes to show you how much history and how much influence that we have, and that we actually have a culture. And all the culture is literally right in front of you. Like how you always like to bring out. It's on your grandmama's nightstand. It's underneath. You know what I'm saying? All that shit is in there, bro. It is not being brought out. It's not being brought out. You know what I'm saying? Because before I came into the truth, I looked at that shit as just it's just words that I don't understand, some sayings, some things that you need to follow, some instruction. But nah, bro, like some niggas wrote the book. Some Simeons wrote the book. Levites wrote the book. Like, and they talking with some slang. They talking like, yo, you know what I'm saying? They talking like this.
And this is us. And this is us. And we're living it now. They've deprived us of certain aspects of it, but certain aspects are so ingrained into our spirit, we can't shake the shit.
That's right.
We're just gonna be those people in the book. That's right. The good and the bad.
That's what I tell you when I was crying when we were watching the video, right? Because I showed him on MS 13 the episode of Gangland. When I said how these people saying that we ain't Israelites,
And I'm like, nigga, evil eye. Y'all think you got evil eye here.
That's right.
A Salvadorian in El Salvador, each colonia in the same city, each colonia.
Yes.
I mean, you can't go to that if they don't know you there.
That's right. No, you're down.
You gotta ask permission. If your girlfriend, if you got a girlfriend,
I seen that documentary.
That bad. Like you really feel like bullshit your way out of it.
You know what I'm saying? It's over.
Listen, and also like even in the hood, going to a wrong hood, you might can talk your way out of that and bullshit like, I'm not from over there, nigga. I'm not in the game, bro. I'm not in the game.
They don't care.
No, it's literally a part of it to where like, no, motherfucker, you don't live here.
We don't know you, nigga. We don't know.
And it's like, in Mexico is like that with the colonials in Mexico. It'd be the same exact thing.
But even with sis, remember, like they show in the episode
in the past.
When she called a guy she had just met 2 weeks earlier, they just, you in the gang? No, I'm not. And let him out and just and stab, you know what I'm saying? Machete, everything, and then took his car and went on the Joyride party and like
Tijuana had 2,000 murders last year.
Talk about
that's
that.
all Mexican on Mexican.
They don't even know about that. I mean, people in California know about that.
Bro, that's literally all. I mean, so that's like you said, evil eye.
That's just Israel.
That's what it is, bro. The same way if you go listen, and these cities, these Chicagos, these Detroits, these Atlantas, even because Atlanta. Niggas don't talk about, a lot of times when you think about Atlanta, people just talk about like black excellence and black people have it their way. But bro, I installed the Citizen app on my phone. There are so many shootings near my house that I'm oblivious to.
You know about Zone 4?
I'm in Zone 3. I'm in like the Zone 3, Zone 4 border.
I mean, bro, you go right up the block. It's on the other side of the
it's going down.
It's crazy.
Listen, it's crazy. It's going down, but people don't talk about. But Atlanta is one of the most violent cities in the country.
Yeah.
But just think about this. If Esau wasn't around anywhere, any of these cities, it would be a 2,000 body city too. Like TJ. Because TJ only got a population of 2 million.
But I'll tell you,
see what I'm saying? So
it's
Chicago.
not Mexicans in TJ. Most of the sicarios in Mexico, they're all Central American.
Wow.
We Mexicans are still like, they consider themselves, even some of them view themselves like that,
better above
the cartel boss is going to be Mexican. But all the Zetas, all the ones doing the killings, they end up Salvadorians because sometimes they say that that when the bodies are laid out, like they face the Marine. They got to stay there while the boss gets away.
Yeah.
And nobody cleans the bodies. Sometimes, and most of the times they say they do have an ID is from Honduras or South Guatemala. They used to kill for free in Central America. Now you get some drugs.
Now it's the car will give you some.
And you get, a nice... nice reflex. They got good guns in Mexico.
The drug game
from here. Don't think that
the drug game over there is. I mean,
but the drug game it's over there, but it's not over there. The drug game is the American drug game.
Yeah,
it's to get white people high.
Yeah,
that's what people don't understand. Even
Snowfall brought that out.
Even the avocado game. It's just about giving Esau guacamole.
We've always had guacamole.
We always have
Esau. Even put it. I seen that thing. It was just for a section. They say it is healthy. All the rich white people in that are influenced, from Hollywood and the rich that people know. Just they went crazy with guacamoles.
And it's some regular shit. It's regular shit. Bro.
It's some regular shit.
People can't stand you talking about America, especially in America. And when you try to reveal, especially, I mean, if you don't know what's going on in America, we talked about this two podcasts ago. If you don't know what's going on in America by now, I mean, come on, you're an idiot. America, what do we got? We got over 200 something militaries over the course of the world, right?
Garrisons,
I mean,
and they're mad that China's now doing the same thing.
Right, that's not by accident. Why? Because we want to know what's going on. We want to be able to conquer. We want to be in everybody's shit, but also, too, by being in everybody's shit, we can also stir up shit so we can get what we want. No different than the avocado. I mean, it goes all the way down from the top tier level, which is drugs, all the way down to, like you said, avocado.
We got to think about
avocado,
this.
Bro.
It all started
each other like drugs too now.
It all started, and that's a lecture I've been meaning to do for a long time and bring this whole thing out. It all started with sugarcane. You have to understand. Their first addiction was sugar. They don't have that shit in Europe. So they came to Haiti. They came to Jamaica. They came to Central America. And nigga, we got cane.
Coffee.
You feel me? Coffee. Chocolate, they don't have none of that shit. All of that. And they got addicted to all of that from us. And we had to work ourselves to death to supply that. Now they have a new addiction, which is the narco. And now they Same thing. You motherfuckers are gonna kill each other.
Like, these people
so
have
we
nothing,
can get
bro.
they have, and that's
Not
why
even a potato.
And that's
so
why
much.
they keep themselves getting off scot-free off of that shit.
on everything, and of course that's why the Bible, Revelations, calls Europe the bottomless pit. These motherfuckers, they have nothing over there. They have to rob everywhere else. But the cool thing is, they want. Here's the thing: when the Mayans had their shit, they didn't have they weren't having fucking droughts. They had their shit, right? Esau, and he wants so much of your resource that he'll just kill you and destroy you for. He didn't even have to do that. They could have easily came over here and said, listen, we want to open up a trade route with you guys. You know, we won't come on, we're going to buy X. But no, we're going to fucking kill you, and we're going to take all of it until you guys don't even have shit left, and then we're going to find another shithole country that has something that we can steal from.
Right.
These motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, bro.
These motherfuckers,
It's
I don't
sad,
want to talk
bro.
about Esau right now. That Black Judas priest, Bill.
Oh.
Right through that whole movie,
We all want to talk
I
about
went and got drunk that whole night because I didn't want to think about it no more.
He was
I see a white man right there.
I mean,
I used to do
crying,
it for
bro.
to my people, get me like I wanna. I tell him, why don't you just go do something? Man?
Of course, but you know,
like every time we hear something like a little, at least for the little kids or some shit, like you seen Esau the mutilating, raping, look, man, I know that you cannot.
Niggas is the devil, bro.
Yo,
the devil, bro.
There's no other way.
So in my country with the MS thing is they created MS.
It's their fault. They've created, through one way or another, they are responsible for all of this shit. You see what I'm saying? And I don't say that to get ourselves off for being responsible for caring about ourselves and loving each other and not killing each other, because there's that aspect too, right? Let's not get that twisted. But these motherfuckers have created an environment.
That's right.
That spawned.
That's right.
This shit. Like niggas and spics weren't made, or weren't born. You see what I'm saying? We were made.
That's right.
We weren't like
warriors.
this.
Aztecs were warriors.
But before they came, we was not like this. We didn't have the crab in the bucket. We were given this mentality that we have towards each other.
That's right.
Crab in the
Through the colonialism, through slavery, they bred this shit. But people don't understand that, how deep this shit is in our fucking brains. Because it's the reason why your grandma think like this and your dad did, and that's not that shit is fucking passed down. That took they had to do a lot of killing in front of motherfuckers to traumatize. They had to traumatize niggas to where they like, oh, okay, well, but as long as I
seeing someone ripped in half,
as long as I say fuck you, I'm cool. As soon as I say fuck him, it's a problem. But as long as it's fuck you and fuck you, nigga,
and only in people in Israel really understand. People who are of Israel.
Yeah.
Not people who, not the terrorists.
Yeah.
People who look
Hebrew Israelites.
Hebrew Israelites.
Literally.
Because I'm telling you, anybody outside of that, they just don't understand. And you're looking at them like, how the fuck can you not understand? Like how? Well, nah, we're living in 2021. Things are different now, Shane. Think that things are even. But I'm talking about like, yo, my grandparents were saying the same thing. Their parents were saying the same thing. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This shit ain't changed.
This shit ain't changed. And it's just a whole different system now. That's all.
And this part, going back to the initial topic, which is the gang thing. A lot of people, they don't understand, because we have our people and we're all suffering the curses. But you have some areas where that's not, the gang thing is not prevalent, but there's still the same shit is going on, but it's not the same motivations. And people don't understand, if you don't talk to people who are involved, then you're not really going to be able to, you have to understand it. Because I did a rant on Instagram about this shit. Like, niggas always go, this is senseless violence. I don't understand how something is senseless if I love somebody and you killed them, that I don't want to come and kill you. What's senseless about that?
Right.
That's sensible. You see what I'm saying? Now, understanding we, of course, are in a society where that's not how you get justice, but you can't tell me that it's not sensible. We have to go back to the root of it. The problem is not pointing at niggas going, you're senseless. Stop doing this senseless violence. That's not it. It's about making brothers that are involved in that understand that, bro, this game started getting played a long time ago, and really we're looking at each other when there's a much bigger problem and bigger enemy. So that's what it takes. But if you can't reach, like, if it's me, and I'm taking myself back. I've learned the truth when I was 17, right? So a lot of times reaching somebody at that age is not even realistic, usually, right? But I was a nigga that was always smart and a thinker and zealous about history. and shit like that anyway.
Everything.
So I was, so it was.
You was in it whether you realized it or not.
It was kind of like I've said before, like it was like, this is it. This is kind of like,
it makes sense.
Shit I already kind of knew. Because my pops would tell me certain things, and it would make, especially after he went to all the Latin countries and went like, them is niggas down there, like, trust me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're the same, all of us are the same. So he told me shit like that, told me the white man's a devil. So when I received the information, it was like, okay, cool, that works. But the thing is, a lot, you know, everybody's not thinking the same. But it's like, if so I didn't have to get met where I was, I kind of just received it, whatever. But if I'm gonna turn that around and I want to give that to somebody else, I got to be able to talk to him in a way that, bro, trust me, I understand, because I was right. I had that same mentality. And even after I learned the truth, it took me a long time to shed that, the actual mentality, especially of having an evil eye towards your brother, just based upon X, Y, and Z. Things happen. It's hard. You know, and it's hard because we're ingrained with that. Like, before I ever had a personal issue with a blood, I don't like you. Fuck you.
Right. I think it's for me that I have a whole race. I have my homies started by Bloods. Shout out by Bloods.
You see what I'm saying?
And at the same time, it's like,
you got
Bloods, niggas. My cousin is like, nigga, your cousin killed my big homie. Like, I'm like, yo. And you just start seeing this, like, yo, just doing each other, man.
And me and Chubbs, we was just talking about this in the car.
We don't even own that building no more.
We're so
You're out of there.
Yeah, we're so ingrained in this shit. But once you come out of it, you come into the truth, having compassion on our brother, not rebuking him, as we said, right? Not rebuking him, because we were once that person. And then, like the Lord says, he put a veil over the dudes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
When you don't see it, it's a veil.
It's a veil, bro. So it's like, it's hard, bro, and it's so frustrating. You know, I'm talking about myself personally. Like, it is so hard.
Like a white fella.
Talking to family members, and I mean, we all been through it, especially when you come into the truth. And, you know, you just want to be on fire.
And you want everybody.
You want everybody.
You want everyone to get it.
You ain't no nigga. You're not black. You're an Israelite. Nigga, you Instacart. Like, nah, this ain't who you are. This is all the matrix. You trying to explain to all the masses in every which way possible, bro. But you know, it boils down to what I wanted to talk about. But I think, as a matter of fact, I think either Debaka or Hassad was telling me, like, bro, like, even though we know this shit is for the elect, we don't know who the elect is. So we have to speak to everybody accordingly.
Yeah, we fishing it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we know everybody ain't going to receive the truth. But when we on the streets teaching, and you know, just to kind of sidebar, that's what I love about Sakari. And I think all the camps do this, as a matter of fact. So shout out to all the camps that are doing it in Israel, bro. Because I don't think I've ever heard one time any camp in Israel, any camp, talk about, yo, this is just for the elect, you ain't gonna get it. In certain situations, but it was warranted.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But like, we're fishing for everybody.
We're gonna talk to our people.
We're gonna talk to everybody, bro. And
at least try to.
And that's
get
love.
That silly ass to stop.
Yeah, that's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And learn fucking something, because you don't know shit.
That's right. That's right. And it makes sense. And it makes sense. Like, we're just not people living here. We just didn't wake up one day and say, yo, we in the streets now. Yeah. We killing niggas. Like, nah, nigga, where were we before this shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How did this shit happen? And, you know, the cycle is, you know, it's a vicious cycle. But being deprived of who we are is what leads to that. Because like I've gone into before, if you don't know who you are and you're just whatever, but you go outside and you know what street you live on, well then fuck it. I'm from this street. Like, this is what I'm gonna be about. That's know what I mean? And it's that easy. That's what happened with the identity issue. Like, you know, I don't know how many times. Well, number one, you know, for the Southern Kingdom, all they just say is Africa. That's a whole big ass place.
Right.
They don't get into the particulars of any culture there. They just go Africa. So that's not good enough. Just a whole goddamn continent.
Right.
And then for the Latino community, I don't know how many times I've engaged with, especially Israelites in San Diego, and they go, I'm like, so do you know about the Aztec history? And they're like,
yeah,
no, I don't know. Like, the niggas I know who know about Aztec, and niggas have been on level 4 prison yards.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think all Instagrams knew about Aztec. Me being a Judite, you would just think that they would know.
They don't know. Listen, the average Mexican walking down,
just like we don't know where
he might know. He might know, like, yeah, the Aztecs were.
You know about Caesar,
but, yeah, but he don't. But hey, he knows about fucking Cesare Borgia. That's what he. That's what he knows about, bro.
Because I asked him, bro. I just had a little Cali nigga moved out here. He got my brother JR, my homie, little niece pregnant. You know, they just had a baby. So he's with this little Cali. So we drinking, you know. trying to show him the older homies, you know, like, you know, this how you deal with her. She's in my head. Don't beat her because we're going to beat your ass. You know? But, you know, this is that. He's like, you know, and you know, I'm going to get, they get tired of me. Oh, again, you know, don't talk to him.
Here comes the Bible.
Here comes the Bible. Religion.
We don't want to hear that.
And I was just talking history.
Yeah, come. You ain't even get to the precepts.
You're drinking, ain't going to bring out the Bible. You know? Yo, but yo, he not no squat, bro. Like
how old is he?
What slave names
how old is he though?
He's like, yo, how he was like, he's about to be 20 probably. These niggas don't know. Yo, bro. But this brother's like, how his last name is Salado, which is like salted. In Spanish means
I've seen the chips, like the chips.
Like, I'm proud of it. Like, you know, it's one of the first names. He goes back to Spain. I'm like, you shouldn't really be proud of that. But you know, he's half German, so if we don't believe that, you know, his mother's German. But he's like, yo, you know that, and I'm trying to explain to you, even if you grew up over there in Germany, you're always gonna be like your Mexican dad, huh? Because you can see it. He's like, nah, you know, you think I'm a white boy and shit. He had that type of, you know, he grew up with Mexicans. He was the lightest one with them and shit. I'm like, bro, no, I didn't, because I understand, you know. Your whole spirit, you look like a little SH from Cali, you know. He talk like it, he moves like it, you know. He behaves, they're kind of like more serious, you know. They don't be as loud like us New York niggas, you know.
We're lost, bro. We're just lost as a people, man. We're lost as a people, We lost.
And we're great people.
I mean, bro.
That's why I cry when I see that video, man. When I seen like, yo, we warriors, man. When I seen that 7-line precept, you know, how my people just doing killings. I'm like, we were killing Esau like we kill each other. We would have been done with them, bro.
Where the Gadat gang at? That's why I'm putting that on front. Where the Gadat gang?
Bro, for where I'm from, you got Native Gangsta Crip, you got Native Gangsta Blood.
I've never heard of that.
In the prisons, you got Native Brotherhood, Indian Brother. You got all that shit.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You got on the reservations, bro. You got Crips and Bloods on the reservations. You even got nigga. A motherfucking Gadites running with Latin kings and shit, bro. You got listen, all them tribes, everybody on that thing, they gonna find a gang to get into,
right,
bro.
There was some
it's in our spirit, bro. We want to run with a clip
because a gang is really tribalism.
That's
you see what I'm saying? It's nigga. We're a part of this. That's why some places, especially like. It's deep rooted, like you know about what they call the green light gangs, which more information been coming out Malavia in East LA.
Oh yeah, well, green light.
You know they were green lighted
a few times already.
Yeah,
ran for they green lighted.
They told you know Maravilla totally refused to pay rent to Sereno. They refused. So that's why they got that had that green light. But they're going into it. They're like, you know, Maravilla. That's literally the name of that town. Now it's like they've rezoned it.
I didn't even know Maravilla.
That's the name, bro.
It's like 5 Maravillas.
Bro, and no, there's like 20-something Maravillas.
That's like the, what's his name? Tattoo artist?
Yeah, the tattoo artist who's in the truth.
Yeah,
so he's in the truth.
He's truth now.
He's been going into it, bro. Cool, bro.
He done tattooing now.
And then guess what? Here's the ill part. His last name is I think Ayala or something like that. Which that's a Hebrew, that's Spanish, but it's Hebrew. Just like you have
Ayala is Hebrew?
Yeah. Just like Ayala, that's
Ayala's a common ass Spanish.
Because we was in Spain so heavy. That's why you have something called the Moranos that was black Israelites that was coming from Spain to Latin America too. And you also have another name, Ibarra. That means Hebrew. That's what it literally means, Hebrew. Yeah, Hebrew. But it's a lot of Northern Kingdom that's run around with that last name. Ibarra. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like there used to be a what's this nigga? I used to know baseball player, shit like that. I even knew a girl. These two sisters that was their last name, Ibarra. You see, Ibarra. So that come from because you know where Portugal and Spain that's the Iberian Peninsula, means the Hebrew Peninsula. Because we founded, Israelites founded that. Right. Eventually, once you get 1492, they start pushing niggas out. Now we're the Sephardic Jews, white people and shit. But we really founded all of that shit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So some of these names, Spanish, even English, some of these names
are really Hebrew.
are our shit that they came and took, because that's all they fucking do.
Matter of fact, you was going into it. Matter of fact, I saw the video. I forgot who you was talking to, but how we got like these names like Smith, all these other names. Like I think you were kind of saying, Salaki, if I'm saying this wrong, those names technically were, not saying Smith, but a lot of these names were technically ours, and then it was stolen.
Some of them,
and then
like,
we had to
like Brown, Black. You see what I'm saying? Well, where the fuck did Cracker get the name Black
from?
Right?
But for Northern Kingdom, I'd say it's totally different. Now, we took those names. We didn't even have last names.
I was just about to say that we didn't have
Our
last
names
names.
were given to us as characteristics. Sanchez didn't give you a name till you were older, until you like who you are as a people.
Yeah, they weren't giving you omen.
Yeah,
and
you know.
Even with Levi, it went like that, because you have certain Levites like that have. The French were giving some of us Greek names, right? Like after Greek gods. Like you will see Levites name Cassius. What's that horse? What's the horse?
Apollo too, right?
Pegasus, Griffin,
Yeah.
Blake Griffin, Apollo. Blake Griffin, his name, they literally, that's a mythical beast. They put that name. Even my first name, which is Adonis, you have like Adonis Stevenson. He switched his name. His name is actually Stevenson Adonis. His last name is Adonis. That's a Greek god. Hercules. You have Levi that's running around with these names because Esau is giving us these names because whatever they observed,
at the
they
time,
liken unto whatever brother they seen, they liken him unto this Greek god or Greek myth, and now you have a whole family. You see what I'm saying? All that shit.
But
they gave those names, but it's because now Esau standardized the surname. Even in Israel, our surname or our last name is literally just the tribe you come from. You see what I'm saying? You're the son of this tribe.
He was always the son of.
Yeah, the son of
Johnson,
right. The son of John, exactly.
Right. I was just in England how this kings, because they came from like from the Vikings when the Suffolks came and invaded and they tried to establish, and then they actually tried to the idea of what England could be.
But even when you deal with the Vikings, son of. Even when you do with the Vikings, that's us too.
The son of. Who does that? In the Bible says the son of us, the son of us.
Even in Ireland, the O on the end or the Mick, that means son of as well.
That's right.
O'Brien means of
That's right.
Brian.
I was just about to say that.
Exactly.
You were so and so, son of so and so. Of the tribe of so from so town. That's how you.
That's how you will be reckoned, and also that comes with a reputation. Because when I say such and such is my father, we got.
You know, we still do that. You know, I'll be like, just so the Chovy of that free pro clique of that MS gang.
You know, exactly. And you got the clique. You see, that's the same thing.
And then they have to hit me up. You know, they hit up the homies.
We know him, yeah.
And you know, yeah. You know,
and it's getting worse too. Why? It's getting worse because if we flash forward, you know, the youth now. They don't know any of this, and they're not being taught any of the history because they're starting to take slavery out of the school system.
But they're still living it, right? And here's what I'll explain. Just like he said, you're talking about you're such and such of this or whatever. Now, what are these little niggas' name? When you go look at their names, they got whatever little 3-letter acronym clique they represent in their name. FBG, duck. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're doing now. Right, so they're really still fucking doing it. And we don't even fucking realize we're still doing this shit.
Because I was writing Chubbs FLS. That's why.
Hey, if you don't want any nigga to find any information, you hide it in the book. You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's why the work we do literally on the street is so important, because our people are not looking for it.
If y'all were in the street, I would never have related or felt like, yo, this nigga's doing something. This Christian pastor
sitting in a building. Hold on, Salaki, go ahead, Azan.
No, I just because that's a great point. I was gonna, y'all were going in, so I didn't want to interrupt it. But earlier, just kind of mentioning Alizar, and I think we talked about this too. How one of the things that's so attractive about being in a gang is, you know, the sense of unity and brotherhood.
Of course,
you look up to.
That's the main thing.
I think there is.
You see what I'm saying? Coupled with, of course, many other things. But that's why
I love that word.
That's one reason why I feel like, especially amongst, the Israelites, blacks and Hispanics, why camps are so successful is because what Christianity does is gangs are bad, and then
come here on Sunday.
And of course they'll teach, you know, they'll deter them from doing the negative things, selling dope, killing each other. But then they take away even some of the positive things that the gangs endorse too.
And they make you a slave to your wife.
Exactly.
That's what they really want.
True. and that's
so you don't get any manhood or brotherhood with that.
And that's how you know
that we give no respect to women. I love this brother.
That's a whole other topic.
He's gonna fuck my women. I'm gonna fuck his women. Because women are ain't shit between us. Feel me?
That's crazy.
He's more important. Him be able to die next to me is more important. That's why MS was, and a lot of them got gang violent things. But until that Brenda Paz shit happened, we stopped jumping women. My clique never had women, but cliques had women, females, and you know, they'll be puta like, yo, they love dick, but at the same time, this bitch will kill you. Feel me?
Crazy
because she wanted that respect. Feel me?
To be a member,
but I'll tell you, like, sometimes different with I say MS. That's why they target us as terrorists. Like, if I'm claiming right now, and they wanted to fuck me over, as I say, I'm a self-admitted. That's what they say. Because I never admitted to no 12 is.
Yeah,
but they say I'm a self-admitted because I had a click tatted on me, my arm. Feel me? You know. But it's how do they live as terrorists? I get a federal warrant right now. And I don't blame them, bro, because I never liked gang. But it wasn't until I went to Salvador and my cousin showed me that like they say, camaraderie. What you know is to be starving in El Salvador and go hunting for chickens at night. And then you over here making up wood and you eating this. You had to steal for it, but yo, hey, we ain't gonna starve.
Together.
Yes, yeah. Together, you know, we start together, we gonna eat together, we smoke together.
Yeah, and like you said,
you know, you wore that already. I'm gonna wear this clothes. You know, you shoot, bro. It's real, brother.
What we call that?
Gotta die for that, bro.
What we call that? What Judah call that? Southern Kingdom, all right, because I'm Levi, right? But we call that homie love, right?
That's right.
Like
that's right.
It used to be. And I told my homeboy, one of my little homeboys, you know, he dead now, but and he's not Israel. He's in Jaffa, actually, Samoan dude. And he used to
Samoan Chris.
he used to come by camp, one of the camps, and he'll see me from across the street. He'll hit me up, boom, boom. And you know, one time he did it in the argument. They were like, "Who is that?" But they just see me smiling, and I'm like, you know, because me and him, you know, we done did some things together. So just with that, even though I know that's not an Israelite, he still ran with me. And we still did that together, and we still got that. Like, that camaraderie is still there, and that's still, you know, it still, you know, lets off them endorphins and make me like, damn, you know what I'm saying? We mean him, we really
I haven't seen my homeboy in 5 years. I'll die for that, man.
So coming from, of course, you see brothers that come from that type of background in the gang. You come into the truth, you recognize you can't do that, obviously, anymore. But, so, I mean, certain things get taken away, but then it gets replaced, and I think the scriptures in Mark 10 and Matthew 19, when Yahushua said, and he that forsaketh mother, father, brother, sister, etc., shall get 100-fold in this life and then everlasting life.
And you get that when you join this brother, when you become a part of the camp through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. It's so important.
That's right.
And it's crazy because I was on the phone with these just 2 nights ago. I was on the phone and I called this nigga my little brother's name. I was like, Christian, you know what I'm saying? But nigga, I don't, you know what I mean? That's not Christian, but I lost my little brother in a way, and not really even to the streets. I lost my little brother to drugs. You know what I mean? He's not the same no more, but I called this, you know what I mean? Because I had to go do, and the thing with me was, because I didn't have a big brother. I have a big brother, but he was given up for adoption, so I didn't grow up with a big brother. So how I looked at leadership and, you know, older nigga being there was, I learned that from being in the gang. Yeah. So when I got older, and my little brother now is getting older, it was natural for me to bring him into that, because that's how, I don't know how to be a big brother.
That's right.
But I had big homies. I can be that. You see what I'm saying? So that was the relationship that I had with him. Yeah. It was, my relationship with my brother is literally predicated upon being in the gang. You see what I'm saying? It's about, yeah, of course, yeah. It's about being my little homie. Before I put him on, he's running around same way like you. Blue rag in his pocket, just like,
that's right.
I'm such and such little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. You know?
And you know, it's crazy. I treated my little brother the same way, because we've only spent we're 7 years apart, but I probably only spent maybe 7 to 8 years with him connected. After that, it's obsolete. So when I talk to him now, it's almost like, yo, you gotta, and he doesn't even respect it the same, because it's totally different. But going back to Hassan's point, bro, it's honor whether we realize it or not. Camaraderie is like a form of honor. So, you know, it's almost like, yo, I'll die for my brother, especially now that we're in the truth, but I'll die for my brother even when we're in the streets, because we want that respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna, it's no different than we're gonna die for Yahweh. We're gonna go down.
You're an honorable part of this camaraderie. That's because you're riding for it. You see what I'm saying? You know, when we stand on the streets, we know anything can happen. So that's there. That is the same way. Like when you're in the streets. You see what I'm saying? You a part of this shit. You claiming this too. You know what come with this shit.
Right.
You know when them niggas we beefing with over there, when they come, nigga, they don't care who's, if any of us is standing out here, they coming for us.
Take some balls to stand on.
It's a song from South Park Mexicans, Real OG, something that he's like, when his friend, he's like a storyteller, right? He's like, when his first friend showing him his first Glock, he's like, they wouldn't let us buy this, so we gotta steal one. He's like, so now when they fire us, we can shoot back. And the little kid's like, who is they? Why would they shoot at me?
Who is they?
Because you from the hood, this is family.
Enemies already.
You mean you from the hood? This is family.
No, and that's fun. And I remember the first time.
To me, it comes from family. I hated gangs. This is seeing my cousin getting shot.
It is a family
I
thing.
needed blood revenge.
I remember when my brother finally, you know what I'm saying, he got that tattoo on his neck. And you seen the tattoo, it's a fucked up tattoo, but he got the H on his neck with the star. And
the Astro,
the Astro, but it's really bad. And I was just so mad. I was like,
Acorn,
we will take
that skin off if you don't do that.
Because a nigga like me, when I would listen, and the Most High saved me because he brought me into the truth right before I was really finna go and get like intricately blasted, you know what I'm saying, with the motherfucking ink. So all praise to the Most High for that, because I don't got no tattoo. Because I always said I'm not getting no bullshit tats. I said I'm going to top level tattoo artist and getting all, so my shit is right. You know what I mean? He got some bullshit, but you know, I remember my sister or somebody said something to my brother on Facebook about the tattoo. Like what is that? Or like, what is it? No, this is before. It's not even before he got the H. He had something on his hand, and she was like, you know, what like, why'd you get that? Like, you know, because she knows certain things, but she don't know everything. And he was like, oh, it's family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a family thing, because this is how we understood it. Like, when he was on the outs with my pops, he went to stay with, you know, my little homie, my crimey, but, you know, his homeboy that he really introduced to it. You know what I mean? And, you know, then But he my crimey because we on the case together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm on the case with two of my little homies. So, you know, he you know, he went to stay with him. Like, we, you know, it's we're bonded through what we do, but also it's interconnected. I know your parents, you know my parents, and then the coldest thing to me is, and a motivator that always was a motivator for revenge to me was, if something happens to you and I gotta go to the hospital, and now your parents are at the hospital, and they know that we all involved in something, and now I have to look at your parents. That used to always make me say, well, I have to ride now, because I had to look at your parents. You see what I'm saying? Your parents are now like, man, what is this motherfucker doing? Like, you know, because I know I had to look at my pops when I'm laying in the hospital bed, shot. You know what I mean? And you know that's just it's just a cold scenario as a parent to go into the hospital and say, my kid got shot. What in the fuck was he doing? What is he into to where a nigga shooting him and you're fucking 14 years old? You know what? And a nigga shot you. You know what I mean?
You was in it, You hold on. You know what? Hold on now. I ain't giving you no props on the street shit. But when it comes to brotherhood, we're just gonna talk about brotherhood, right? You was in it, because how many homies do we know, especially today, but even back then, they can't do the same thing. They're in it for the wrong thing.
They see that and they
in it for the clout, bro. Like they don't want no parts of that. So it's almost like, yo, if I'm gonna do this shit, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it for all the right reasons, but wrong reasons.
Right reason, but wrong. We're doing it.
That's the reason why
we're doing it out of love. We're doing it out of love. That's right. What I'm saying, because that's where it all's coming from, that place of love. So that's why when the truth was brought to me, it helped me understand it so much more and be able to apply that same thing, but in a righteous way, to where I already understand about loving these niggas I'm with, but it even more than loving these niggas I'm with, I gotta love all these people.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing is, a motherfucker like me, if I always was able to look at these atrocities that have happened to Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people and feel it, like really be fucked up about it, even before I knew, like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Learning about shit like the fucking Panama deception.
That's right.
Like, what the fuck? These motherfuckers did what? Like, always find out new shit they did. It's like, what? These motherfuckers did what?
Right.
Nah, they couldn't have did that, right? No, they're not that fucked. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's like, okay, you're supposed to feel for these people, because we're all one people, we're all the same people, and we gotta stand. You know what I'm saying, for all our people. But that certainly, I learned so much. Like, even, you know, if people compliment leadership ability I have, bro, I was a leader in the streets first. I was forced. I didn't, bro. I grew up somewhere. California niggas brought the gang to where the fuck I was from. But then for some fucking reason, my family didn't move to California after that. Right? And then I moved to a part of California, Vista Oceanside, where there's gangs, but my particular gang isn't represented.
That's
right.
right.
I'm not joining none of you niggas shit.
Yeah. And I see what it is up there, nigga. Y'all niggas know that y'all ain't on my level.
Yeah, nigga, I'm not getting with none of y'all shit. And niggas try to, cause DVC, they was trying to get me, it was one particular dude that was trying to get me to turn DVC so bad. I'm like, bro, and the nigga from East Coast, the ones who was beefing with F-13, cause the nigga from East Coast, well, I got shot with a nigga from East Coast. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm in this Hoover thing, bro. I'm not turning nothing else. So it got to the point where since I was, you know what I'm saying, a little, like I was already sold on this shit. I'm not finna be nothing else but this. And then somebody puts it in my ear like, why don't you just start putting niggas on? I'm not even thinking that, because I'm like, bro, I'm like 16 years old. What do you mean? But if you understand the origins, like 16, 15, 14, that's who started this shit. Right. So what a nigga gonna tell me I can't?
That's right.
So niggas started doing it and start building my own thing. So then at that point now I'm a leader, because now these little homies, these niggas that's running around doing it, they're like, we with this nigga.
So hold on. So wait. So I left. So hold on. You had a lot of
I know.
You had a lot of them in Oceanside?
I didn't have a lot, but I had a squad. Okay. Because I was not about quantity. I wouldn't take anybody. There was niggas that was like, sign me up, and I was like, nah, I can see the bitch in you. It's not happening. You see what I'm saying? And there was some niggas that I took a chance on, because even my little homie that I was talking about that my brother stayed with, my crime, he was Issachar. He's Mexican. His mom's Sicilian, his dad is Mexican. When my little brother brought him to me, I was like, nigga, fuck no, I ain't putting this nigga on. Because in the world, I'm like, bro, this Mexican, man, fuck this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My little brother's like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, I run with this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bro, listen, and that's probably my solidest little homie of all. Like I said, he's on the case with me. I caught a case with him. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's my ace. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had a squad, but I had a solid squad, and niggas wasn't solid. My little brother and him was like, bro, we putting niggas off who's not solid, period. So, you know, we might have had, let's say, less than 24 people. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, during my time, a lot of the black gangs, as far as active members, didn't have a lot more active members than that anyway. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. It was at every hood at that, just, if we discount niggas that kind of, you know, is, you know, whatever.
Those are just hang-arounds, bro. They're
hang-around. The niggas that's active, it wasn't more than 24, except for with the Issachar, when you deal with like P-Town, you deal with Vista, they was coming deep. You know what I mean? They had a lot of active niggas, but even Center didn't have a lot of active niggas.
I mean, Center Street had to put niggas on just because they were so hated. They needed more people to validate that they was a
See, because look, now Center is in a bad position.
We fought with them all the time in junior high.
It's bad for them because one side,
even in high school,
you got the Crips coming at them, and the other side, you got Pasole coming at them, which is like a gigantic Mexican gang.
That's right.
Bro, you're stuck in between two niggas that like is your enemies, bro. They were listen. Center, I ain't gonna lie, was for, but they had this one motherfucker named Droopy who had Center Street for his mustache, bro. Literally, Center Street mustache. Niggas knew not to fuck with him.
You always have one.
Listen, he'll walk in P-Town with that. He said he was like, motherfucker, I'll walk through this shit right the fuck now. You know what I'm saying, with this shit on. He said, because I know whoever's calling shots over there, nigga. But he was at a level where he was so deep in his slanging meth and shit like that. He could walk into any barrio because they know like, oh, this nigga, he's cooking meth. Right. At the end of the day, he's cool, right? You don't touch him, you know what I'm saying? But he was down, but like, you know them, they was never, but you know, they was never deep. Like you could go over there. Sometimes you might go over there and you'll get caught slipping, but sometimes, bro, I used to walk all through there, motherfucker.
In Center Street, right?
Bro, in Center Street. The most that ever happened to me in Center Street, a paisa walk up to me, assumed I was Issachar, asked me something in Spanish. I told him no habla, and he just walked off. Other than that, bro, I never had, and I used to be smashing through there, bro, because my girl at the time, best friend, stayed right behind Oceanside High.
Oh yeah, that's all they hood.
In the heart of that shit.
They hood ain't that big.
No, it's not.
It's not that big.
It's a solid, but it's not big, but it's solid.
It runs almost down the hill by the tracks.
Yeah,
It runs all the way down there, but I mean, and then it goes what, the Oceanside Boulevard a little bit.
It don't even go that far.
It don't
because then you gonna have West Side 30 Crip, and then South O is gonna hit
West
before
Side,
both of those.
I know about South O, but West Side 30 Crip I never knew about.
See, this the thing. West Side is the thing about West Side is West Side would be like it would have seasons. Because when I first moved to Ocean, I never heard of them. Then all of a sudden, they was like the biggest shit.
Right.
But what happened was a lot of them niggas went to jail. Then they got out. When they got out, they start putting little niggas on. You see what I'm saying? So I end up knowing a lot of them. But at first, when I first moved to Oceanside, this is what I knew about. You had DVC.
Of course.
You had Insane.
That's right.
You had the East Side, Crook Mob. Then you had DVB. You had KCB. For the Bloods.
That's right.
Then on the Mexican side, we had Center. We had Pasole. We had Vista.
Mesa.
And we had San Marcos. I didn't even know about Mesa yet.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they in the valley.
But Messa's a motherfucker, but
they stayed to themselves.
They was because the way they got their, Messa, the way they got their, like,
they're bordered in.
They really have like their own shit. You know what I'm saying? To where like you're not just accidentally riding through there.
Hell no.
You go through there.
You don't even know anybody who's living there.
Now listen.
No Judites.
I knew one person. And it's one Samoan. It's a Samoan from there, but no, I was the Samoan brother I was best with, and her sister lived up in there. So that's the only time I even
never went
up in there. And even the other Mexicans, they don't even get along with no other Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they don't like the other Mexicans, and they're the only Mexican gang in that region that will express racist views.
They're
the only ones that be like,
that's right.
I remember.
That's right.
No bad. Yeah, like we had so in the apartments where we was running, there was a Mexican clique that actually spawned out of South.
The thing is that now they're called gangs, but in Cali, they were hoods. This is the difference. I told you that.
It was a hood. Yeah,
right. That's what I told you.
It was a neighborhood. Yeah,
that's what I told you. I don't respect it. I don't respect any hoods or any gang members in New York, so to speak. No disrespect. I just can't. I just see it from a different angle.
If you don't have a hood like a commute, I remember a nigga, because I didn't know that people did this outside of that, but I remember a nigga asked me. He was like, "Is it about something?" He said, "Is it a church?" Because there was this big clique at the high school I was going to. It was called LDB, and then they added the K, LDBK, Let Them Bleed Blood Killers, and it was big. But they got started by a nigga from Insane and a Tongan nigga from Tongan Crip. They started it, so they was like Crips, but it was hella Mexicans from there. The Mexicans that didn't want to be SAs and like kind of cleave to Judah more, they was all like turning. They was getting put on this shit. So I remember I was telling somebody about it. He was like, yeah, nigga from South Oak. He was like, yeah, I heard about that. He was like, is they like a turf or? I was like, well, nah, they don't have like area they lay claim to, but these niggas are deep though. They're tripping. So it end up, but with shit like that, that's gonna always fade out if there's not a turf attached to it, because there's not like a place where we're getting a recruiting class.
There's no origin.
Yeah, the recruiting class got to be the kids that live here. You see what I'm saying? The next group of kids that live here, they're the ones getting put on.
Has to be some real history.
Yeah, it's got to be the history, and this is the block, nigga. This is where niggas get. If you didn't get put on here, nigga, we don't even respect your shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So an actual geographical location gotta be tied for the shit to really move right. You see what I'm saying?
Always been last. I never wanted to go. I was always scared.
Also, gentrification will take them out.
No, exactly, and that's the thing too. And I heard an OG from Santana Block say this. Not only does a geographical location got to be tied to it, but home ownership has to be tied to it. He said the reason why our hood is lasted so long is because black people own the houses over here. So because black people own the houses, this hood is going to stay strong, because that, you know what I mean, the cousins and the grandmas going to end up raising all these kids, and everybody's going to be there, and that's going to keep the hood deep. Same thing with Issachar, but as soon as, if Esau want to push you out, nigga, you ain't got no fucking hood no more. You niggas is just claiming some shit. Y'all don't even go over there. But see, that happened to us because we was based, and he said that about an apartment-based hood, because we was claiming mostly this apartment complex. And if once everybody gets out of there, bro, we don't hang out over there no more. Coincidentally, when we leave, they put cameras, they got security. So now if we hang out, they're like, well, who lives here? And now nobody lives here. So nigga, we can't hang out no more. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I took out my hood. My cousin Arañita got caught with that. He killed somebody right in the middle of the street. The camera is 4 blocks down on the railroad of Freeport, almost by the police station that way. And they caught him. Now we know.
New York cameras are crazy, bro.
Now we know we can't be on that block. So Bloods never took back that building from us.
They just left.
We just moved
y'all just left it. Yeah.
Yo, bro, it was never meant for me to be
there's a camera.
Like honestly, like so Slacky, I'm sorry. It was never meant for me to be a gangbanger, bro. Like, listen, all praise to the Most High, man. Like,
go ahead.
No. All praise to the Most High. You know, that I always had another route to take, which was sports. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, there's been some shit that I've always gotten into, but it wasn't so deep that I couldn't get myself out of it. But the Most High put the spirit of awareness on me to be like, nah, Shane, what the fuck? You ain't even supposed to be here. Like, this ain't even you. You know, I'm gonna tell you one thing, them niggas can't fight, though. Y'all niggas can't fight.
No, that's why they join gangs. That's why they join gangs.
I used to whoop a lot of niggas' ass.
But put it like this. It's like this.
And
everybody knows every gang it's got its fighters.
Right.
It's got a couple niggas that you know, like, these are the niggas that's super cold with the hands.
Yeah.
You got niggas that shoot. You got niggas that drive. You got niggas that steal. You know what I mean? Everybody
we might just
is
get a
certainly
nigga in
not a
because of
fighter.
his money. Then you got the one that is the pretty boy that's gonna cook.
It's a body, nigga. It's a body. The body has different members.
It's how it is.
But we gonna wrap up, man. We gonna give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, say shalom.
Shalom.